Hi folks, here we are at the Iowa Car Museum. This is in Coralville, Iowa, not too far from Iowa City. They got about 90 cars in here, so we're going to go check it out, show you what we can see in there, and hope you enjoy the video. Well, we got a 1909 Mason here. We'll show you the information on it. Made in Iowa. And all brass. Those are made for 4 years in Waterloo and 4 years in Des Moines, looks like. There's an extra body for one if you want to put a truck style body on one. Got some Model A's over here. Here's a 29 Model A Phaeton and a 29 Roadster here. This is a pretty cool place. It's in a modern looking building here. There's a 31 Cabriolet. You can see all the different body styles here. And here's a Roadster pickup with the fabric top. And looks like we got a coupe and a 4-door back there. Those are 28 9s. Here's a toolkit you could get with a Model A. Even the emergency tire patches. A couple pedal cars and a little go-kart Model T there. I guess they have about 90 vehicles here, so we're going to walk through them here, but we're just getting in the front door here. There's a high-wheeler, small size. Still got the carbide headlight on there. Always wanted to try riding one of those. They were kind of dangerous, but basically you put one foot up on that pedal and jump up onto the seat, and off you go. They've made a little garage here. Got a Skelly sign up there. Got another Model A. This is a 31 Roadster here. Couple different eras of gas pumps, an earlier one and a later one. You can see that's the deluxe Roadster. Got the dual side mounts, cowl lights. That one's a rumble seat. Got a couple buggies here. One coming down from the ceiling. Jesse Allen family buggy right there. You can read the sign if you want to pause on that. Here's another one here. I'll show you the information on it. Those are just good original survivor condition. Got a dummy horse here. So here's the little garage I've made up. We'll take a little look in there. It looks like it has a lot of small advertising pieces and cans and things like that. Mostly Skelly stuff from the looks of it. All kinds of Skelly stuff there, even a clock. Skelly clock. Look at these. Little skunk air fresheners. Those are kind of funny. Don't know that I've seen those before. Got an old cash register there. Pretty cool place if you're here in Coralville, Iowa, if you're in the area. It's right near Iowa City. Kind of in between Des Moines and Davenport, somewhere in there. I'll take a spin around the back here, catch up with you back there. It's a nice Bowser visible. I think Bowser is considered the inventor of the gas pump, or the first one to manufacture A lot of them anyway. There's a high wheeler. 1905 Holzman. Get a little reflection off of these signs here, so hopefully you can read those. I don't know. Get onto this side. Oh, they got a wheel off of it. Notice the buggy style wheels. It's got like a belt drive. Motors underneath there. They're basically a buggy with a motor in them. Got some blacksmith stuff here. Blacksmithing was a key aspect of being an auto mechanic in the early days. Got some old bicycles here. Got a Whizzer. Got a Hopalong Cassidy bike. That's a nice one. I think those were made by Roll Fast. 1950s. This one's a 47 Whizzer motorbike there. It's on a black Phantom. This one's a J.C. Higgins. This one's a Roll Fast. Got a cool Shelby Bicycles advertisement there. Get on this side, there's a couple more early cars here. Here's a 1912 Sears. You can see the badge on the front there. This one looks like mostly original paint stuff on it. It's another one that's got a tiller steering. This one's chain drive, can fit more passengers. And this one's a 1908 Economy. I can show you the signs on both these. There's that one. There's some stuff about the Sears price-wise, and when there were some advertisement from the early days. There's the other sign for the Sears. Those are cool. This one's a real small one here. The Economy. And that one's actually got a steering wheel rather than just a pull lever like this one here. Early on in auto manufacturing, there was lots of different ways of doing things. Look at the jack right there. Different ways of steering them and braking them and suspensions and stuff until they kind of standardized later on. There's an 1899 Haynes Apperson. Notice the copper, I guess this is the radiator on the side there. Or it's the radiator tank, maybe? Yeah, it looks like a cooling tank. I think that's your radiator, I'm guessing. Right on the side there you can see the engine with the big heavy flywheel in the back there. This one's an International Harvester, what they call a high wheeler. Got an interesting step on the back. There's a brush automobile. This is a interesting car. This one's a 1910. They have wooden axles on them. And what's interesting about this one is there's a whole history of it here on the wall. You really ought to stop and see this car. This was driven by the Abernathy brothers from New York to Oklahoma back in the day. And they were only 6 and 10 years old when they did that. And they slept underneath the car at nights and ate rabbits or whatever they could shoot. Just an amazing story behind that car. Imagine driving that at 6 and 10 years old back then. Here's another International high wheeler made in Akron, Ohio. Got quite a room full of them here, so we're going to go down them. Apparently the museum owns about 10 cars, but most of these cars are owned by local guys. Look at the, I don't know what you'd call that, like a camp setup that goes on the back of your car where the trunk goes. And here's another one that folds out into a bed. It goes right on the running board. That's pretty cool. This is an early Chevrolet. But anyway, they bring the cars in here and have them in the museum for a while, and sometimes they sell them and get other ones, and so it's a kind of a revolving inventory here, so things are always changing. There's a DeMott. Some information on it there. It's a 1910. They do have an impressive collection of early cars here, though. Here's an early Cadillac. This one's a 1903. You can see the radiator right on the front there. Notice the strange seating arrangement here in the back. There's a door right in the center in the back. So you could climb up a step there and get right in that door on the back and sit on either side. It's kind of a different way of doing it back then. Here's an early Model T here. 1910. Look at the policeman on the radiator cap there. As you drive, he flings his arms around. Most of these cars are just nice original cars. Here's a 1912 Galloway. Show you the information on that here. I don't know how well you're going to be able to read those signs, but you can pause on them and check them out if you want. There's multiple rows of them here, so we'll just keep walking down them. Here's a Rio, nice early Rio. A lot of brass cars here. This one's a 1909. There's a couple more, no, just I guess one more Model T. This one's a 13 Model T, Ford, right there, touring car. This one is a Maxwell. Nice early Maxwell Roadster there. Look at all the brass on these. This one here is kind of a survivor condition. It's a Maytag. I don't know if I've ever seen a Maytag automobile. Made in Waterloo, Iowa here it says. So kind of a local car to this area. Pretty big car actually for the time. Boy, that would be a fun car to drive. Love the old original patina to it. See the magneto there. Look at the old repair on the cylinder head. Old brazed repair. It's a right-hand drive. Pretty cool car. Got a couple on that side, but we'll go down this side here first. We got an Essex there, Essex Phaeton. That's the cheaper model of the Hudson. That one's a 1920. I own a 25 Hudson Brougham. Well, we got a couple Chevys here, a little coupe, and this one's a 1930, and a sedan, a 1929. We're going to keep video on here, but due to music, we're going to have to talk over the rest of it. So just keep watching, and we'll do a talk over for the rest of it. Hotmobile. I don't know if that's a Victoria or a coupe, kind of a long body coupe from the looks of it. Here's a little history on the signboard here. Got a number 4 on the license plate, Iowa plate. This other one is a Plymouth. This one's a 4-door sedan, 1930. Just a couple years into Plymouth production there. There's some information on it here. Plymouth started in 1928, so it's an early Plymouth. That one's got the wood spoke wheels. The Hutmobile had some wire wheels on it. This one's a Whippet right here. See what the body style is a touring car, Whippet touring car. And this here is a race car. This is, I believe, it said it was the fastest diesel car to reach. It was the first car to reach 300 miles an hour. Put it that way. At the time it was the fastest diesel-powered car. Got the Cummins logo on the side there. So imagine going 300 miles an hour with Cummins power. This one's got some history there. Roger Fisher car. Kind of a homemade deal there to make it look like a Mercedes-Benz, I guess. You can read the information on the sign there if you want to. You can pause it. Here's some pictures of where they found it and some earlier pictures of what it looked like back in the day. Pretty cool looking little car though. This one's an Auburn here. 1931 Auburn. Made in Auburn, Indiana. They were an iconic manufacturer. Made the Auburn cord, made the Auburn cord in Duesenberg. And that's an Auburn right there. That one's a Cabriolet. And then we got a little Dodge here. This shows some, that book there shows some of the stuff that they've had over the years on display in the museum. They've had a lot of interesting stuff. This is a 1933 Dodge. This one's a Roadster with dual side mounts. That's a really nice looking car there. Got the Ram mascot, dual horns. And here's a Ford here. This one's a Cabriolet, 1934. You see it on the sign there. This one looks like a deluxe too. Got the cowl lights, got the dual horns, got the rumble seat step back there to get up on the rumble seat. It's a nice car. I've got a 34 coupe myself, 3-window. Here's a LaSalle. This is a lesser grade Cadillac right there. Shows some information on it. Made them from 27 to 40. That's a dual side mount, 4-door sedan. Big old sedan, looks like a barn find. It's always fun to see them like this because usually you see them either really rough or like totally restored. So it's nice to see. Here's another one here, a Pierce Arrow that's like that. Notice how the glass is fogged up in the windows, the safety glass. That's the plastic in between the two layers of glass. It's fogged up like that. This one's a 1929 as it shows there. You can always tell a Pierce Arrow by the headlights coming up out of the fenders like that. That was their trademark. Notice the pull down shades there. Oh, getting a little blurry there due to the dark. Kind of dark in here, so sorry about that blur on that one. That was a good looking Pierce Arrow, nice original car. Now this one is a touring car here. And this one is a Chalmers, 1922 Chalmers. They made some interesting cars. Look at the disc wheels on that one. Nice old touring car. Here's an earlier one here, another touring car. This one's a Rambler. They were bought up by Nash. Later became Nash, then AMC. 1913 Rambler there. They got some nice early cars at this museum. Some really cool stuff. Notice the signs up on the Burma shave signs too. You can see them on these posts. You see one to the, we'll see them in a minute here. I just saw one a couple minutes ago. You can see it on the video. It's a 1916 Haynes. This one's got wire wheels. Good looking car. There's the Haynes emblem on there and the motor meter. That one's another, no, that one's like a Cloverleaf Roadster, I think. It's got a, I'm not sure what body style they call that, but it's not a touring car, but it's not a Roadster. It's like a long body Roadster. Maybe a Cloverleaf, I'm not sure. Somebody can correct me on that if they know. This one here is a Survivor, needs to be restored. Nice early car. This one's also a touring car. Notice the horsehair coming out of the upholstery there. That's the old horsehair filler. This one's right-hand drive. Judging from the shape of that radiator, it looks like a white. Yes, that's a white, a 1912 white, brass era. But white had that shape to the radiator on their trucks too. So it's kind of a signature of whites. This one's a 1911 Cadillac. This is another touring car. Real early Cadillac though. Wood spoke wheels. Look at the separate cylinder heads there. Cast in pairs. Got primer cups on there. Got a plunger horn on the side. Right hand drive. This is a 3-door as well. Notice there's no door here for the driver on the right hand. You could get out the left hand side, but that's not a door there because you got the brake handle and the transmission shifter handle right there on the side. I always like the brass era cars. Got nice trim on them and stuff. And we got one hiding behind the post here. This is a real early one here, real small, almost looks like a motorized buggy. This is another real early one here too. This one's a Ford, a 1904 Ford Model F. You won't see very many of those. That's an early Ford right there. There's a couple Model Ts here, but there's some other early Fords here we'll show you too. This one's an early Cadillac, 1908. Nice little roadster. It's even got a small pickup box on the back, looks like. That's one step away from a motorized buggy too. We're in the basement here, so we are getting a little blur because of the lack of sunlight here. Camera's having a hard time focusing. Here's another early Ford, 1908 Model S. So this is right before the Model T. 1909 the Model T came out and revolutionized auto manufacturing. Here's an early car here. This one is a Elmore, 1911. That's also a touring car. This is, notice the plunger squeegee horn there, and look at the speedometer that's on the outside of the car. That's kind of interesting there. That's also a right-hand drive. I don't know that I've seen too many with a speedometer on the outside of the car like that. Here's a Veely. This one's a 1920 Veely right there. You can read the information on it. Notice the octagon headlights. They did that on quite a few Veelys. That one's a touring car. There's a lot of John Deere history behind the Veely. That was some relation to John Deere, so you can read up on the history of it there if you'd like. This one's a Gardner. Now we had a Gardner probably about 15 or 20 years ago. We had bought a 1920 Gardner, which is the first year. This is a 1923, but it looks virtually the same. The one we had was all black. We sold it to a guy in St. Louis because that's where they were made. He wanted to take it back home. So I dropped it off there on one of our trips through St. Louis. Here's an early Dodge here. Dodge Brothers, 1915 touring car. Look at the non-skid tire on there. This one's a gasoline electric hybrid. You can read the history of it there on the sign. Way before these hybrids they had these days. These were, I think it was General Pershing had like those in World War I too. They had a lot of Dodge Brothers in World War I. They were popular back then. Well, we got a few more across the back here. We'll get to the front of them, see what makes they are. Got a sedan here on the right. This one's a Jordan. You don't see very many Jordans around. 1924 right there. Looks like a barn find all original. Notice the funny windshield. And this is a tire pump on the running board there for if you get a flat, you can blow your tire up. Hand pump. There's a Chevrolet here. Pikes Peak it says on the front banner. 1916 Chevrolet. It says 1913 on the hood side. Not sure how to tell the difference on the two myself, so if you can fill us in, let us know what the difference is, if that's a 13 or a 16. Here's an early Buick, 1926. This one's all nicely restored on that one. And we got a couple small cars here. Actually, a couple motorcycles here first. Let's check these out. This is an interesting one here. It's got an A.O. Smith cart. It's got an engine. It's got a wheel, an engine with a wheel on it there, and it's basically just a cart. It's called a Smith motor wheel there, see it? So that wheel drives you. You just sit in that little cart, and that wheel can drive you along. Nice Indian motorcycle here. Got a nice maroon color on that. Looks good. Indian Scout, 1927. Police special on that one. And this looks like a Cushman, maybe? Yep, Cushman scooter, 1962. Got a windshield on that one even. And we got a few import cars here. And here's that front row that we didn't get to here. This one's an Erskin, made in South Bend. I think there's some Studebaker history there with Erskin. Maybe even made by Studebaker, I believe. There's a Dodge Brothers sedan. Oh no, this one's a touring car. 1920s Dodge touring car there. And here's the import cars we were talking about. Got a Volkswagen. Looks like a 64. Volkswagen Roadster. Convertible. Beetle. Yep, 64 Volkswagen Beetle right there. Told a little history on the sign. And this one kind of looks like a Beetle, but it's not. It's a Hanomag, a 1939. Never heard of one of those. Pretty interesting. Notice the rib up the roof. It's a two-door. Looks a lot like a Volkswagen or a Volvo or something. Split windshield. Kind of a two-door fastback. Split rear windows too. Got a couple pieces of glass falling out of it. Don't know that I've ever seen one of those. Those are pretty wild. There's the interior view for you. Well, we'll step over here. We've got a few later model cars. Here's a whole collection of Iowa license plates here on the wall. They had a silent movie. You can see it on the projector there. That's what was causing the noise for us. There's Parker and Jackie sitting there, my sons, waiting for me to do the video. 51 Olds here, Rocket 98. They had the silent movie, but it had music playing with it. Here's the thing out of a movie theater. You'd hook that on the drive-in movie theater. You hook that on your window so you could have a speaker there. There's a 64 Studebaker Gran Turismo there. Pretty nice looking car. And we got a 54, I think, Hudson here. Yep, 54 Hornet. Hudson Hornet. And that one's got a swamp cooler on the window. You can see that was the paperwork for it. Basically, you'd put ice or very cold water or something up in there, and the air going through it would push into your window. The window's down a little bit, and it would push that cool air into your car. Kind of an early form of air conditioning. There's a good looking Pontiac here. You don't see very many of those. Nice Pontiac convertible, Cabriolet Coupe, 1937 right there. Got the silver streak up there with the Indian head mascot on the hood. Pontiac Chief there. And we got an airflow here. This looks like a DeSoto airflow. We've had a couple. We had a 34 and we had a 37 airflows. The 37 was a Chrysler, I believe. The 34 was a DeSoto like this. This one's a 36 right here. Always love those cars. They're cool looking for the age, you know, real streamlined aerodynamic styling. Very strong body too. Look at the Art Deco styling on the door handles and the tail lights and stuff. The sales pitch for those back in the day, where they drove one off a cliff, rolled it over multiple times, rolled it back on its wheels, and drove it away because that body was so strong. Here's a Lincoln Premier, 4-door. You can see across there's a couple high-end classics there. We'll stop by those in a minute. Here's the Lincoln Premier, 1956 right there. Kind of a knight on the hood ornament. Here's a nice one here. This looks like a Cadillac. There's your signboard. Sport Coupe, 1935. Good looking old Cadillac right there. Dual side mounts. Got the bullet shaped headlights. Kind of a goddess on the hood ornament. Rumble seat in the back here. Big heavy wire wheels. Notice those taillights too, bullet shaped taillights. Just a cool looking car. Pretty highly styled for its year. Here's a Lincoln here. Notice the Greyhound on the hood. So it's a 1937 Model K, 12 cylinder. That's a big Lincoln right there. Look at the big 12 cylinder under the hood. Dual side mounts. Kind of streamlined headlights in the fender. Here's our Chevrolet here. Not sure what those initials are. AFS on the front. Interesting Chevy, 1940. That one's a sedan. So that finishes up that row. Here's an electric car here. Early electric car. I'll show you around this one. There's some information on it. A Milburn, 1915 Milburn. There you go. Notice in the trunk here all the batteries in there. It took a lot of batteries to power this thing. Look at them all lined up in there. 6 of them. This looks like a little player piano or something there. Look at the DeSoto advertisement up there too, the big banner. Here's a cutaway. Looks like a Willys Knight, or a sleeve, Knight sleeve valve engine there, cutaway. There it is, Knight valveless engine. You can see how the sleeves work as valves. They didn't have valves per se. Quite a different style for back in the day. Here's another little engine here. That one's a cutaway as well. And you can turn it with that wrench on the front there. Here's a Ford retractable on the right. Here's that Hudson and the Studebaker. Let's see what's over here on the far side. I think we missed a couple here. This one's a Buick. Check out your sign there, right there. Series 40, 1941 Buick right there. Convertible. Special. There's a Buick Fireball right there. Here's the back end of that Pontiac there. Show you the taillights and stuff. Pretty highly styled car too. Here's the Ford retractable. Notice it's like a hardtop that folds up into the trunk for you. Those of you who haven't seen one, it's not a convertible with a soft top, but it's a hardtop that the convertible or the hardtop lifts up and slides back into the trunk. They made them for a few years there, 1958 on that one. Pretty nice car. A lot of mechanical stuff to fix though in that top folding mechanism. Takes a lot of heavy mechanical stuff there to lift that big heavy top. And we got a showcase here with some cool stuff in there. Look at the leather Iowa license plates. There's some early leather plates. All kinds of little trinkets in there. We got some soapbox derby history up on the wall there. A few cars. Des Moines sign. Kind of interesting. Here's a nice little Comet convertible. 1965 Mercury Comet there. Good looking red convertible with a white interior. Here's a Nash. This one's a 1951 station wagon. Give you a look on the side here. There it is. Two-door wagon right there. Bathtub Nash. Notice there's really no front wheel cutouts. Kind of funky looking the way they did that. There's the soapbox derby stuff. You can get a better look at it. Even the helmets and the suits down low there. And we got a Thunderbird and a Corvette over here. Check these two out. A bunch of license plates in behind there too. This one's a 55 Ford Thunderbird. See all the license plates back there? I got a lot of nice little small collectibles and stuff. And here's a 65 Corvette convertible roadster. Nice pair of cars right there. Got some automotive art on the wall back there. And we got some Model Ts over here. Looks like one up on the lift. Little roadster there on the floor. And this one is interesting. Looks like a tree fell on it, smashed it. Smashed the whole top of it. It's a 1924. Tells about a storm in 2020 where the tree had fallen right on it and destroyed it. They've just left it that way and put it in the museum. There's a jukebox there. And a little kid's ride of a truck there on the left. Now we're getting into a couple big classics here. Looks like we got 3 of them in a row here. Now this one I haven't seen. The other 2 I know what they are. This one's a 1921 National Phaeton. Boy, that's a nice car. Nice big Phaeton there. And this one here is a Duesenberg, of course. You can tell a Duesenberg a mile away. Look at that, a pretty impressive power plant under the hood. Got the Duesenberg mascot. It's a 1931 Model J. Oh, and this is kind of cool, this Lincoln highway marker here. There's a Lincoln plaque on it there. That's an original Lincoln highway marker. Tells a little about the Duesenberg. Boy, that would be a fun car to take out for a cruise. And we have a big Lincoln here. This is a pretty impressive Lincoln there, 31 Lincoln, dual cowl Phaeton. So anyway, we're getting towards the end of this video. You know, if you like these old car videos, like junkyard, swap meets, all this kind of stuff, please subscribe if you haven't already. Please give us thumbs up, good comments. If you want to tell us what some of these things are, if we mislabeled them or whatever, give us a comment. Let us know. We don't know it all. We just try to do the best we can. Here's a 1902 Knight, a little 3-wheeler with a tiller steering. So anyway, there it is. We'll kind of pan around the room and hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll catch you on the next round, and we'll try to find anything automotive, but we do also antique shows and swap meets and flea markets and auctions and picks about anywhere we can find this stuff. So we'll catch you on the next round. Thank you very much.